Hi, Miss April here again with another history walk using primary sources. And today I wanted to finish up talking about the Titanic with a couple of articles I'd like to show you. We're going to focus first on the safety regulations because there are some artifacts that were recovered from the Titanic. Like this is a life-saving flotation device that was found in the ruins of the Titanic. And this is a picture of a lifeboat where they are trying to get some people ashore to be saved from the sinking ship. And as you know, unfortunately, about 1,500 people passed away or perished as the Titanic disaster occurred. And part of the problem was, if I look at my primary document from the New York Times, April 17th, 1912. And this is after the event has taken place. And they're sort of reflecting on what happened and what went wrong. This is what came out in the paper. It says, boats far too few, says ship's designer. The Titanic carried more than was required by law, but they needed 50. The present law is inadequate. And they're talking about the lifeboats on board. Until the requirements are raised, he asserts, companies cannot afford to add to the top weight. So basically, they were speaking with one of the ship's designers, and he said that even though legally they had 20 lifeboats on board, that would only serve about 50% of the people that were on board the ship. And it says here that the designer said the Titanic should have had 50 lifeboats instead of having 20. So even though they legally had enough, when the worst case disaster happened, they simply couldn't save everyone because they had so few lifeboats. So it's interesting that after this, and this is true, after this disaster, new laws were created where they redesigned some of the ship's safety features that came out after this disaster. And they also increased the number of lifeboats per ship so that everyone would have a chance to get in a lifeboat in the event that a disaster struck. So that was, I guess, one positive thing that took place after the sinking of the ship. And all those people died because they simply couldn't get on board lifeboats. However, this is probably my favorite article that I found during the Titanic research that I did. And this is from the New York Times, but it's being reported from London. So whoever the reporter was based in London, which is, England is where the ship sailed from. It's from Southampton. But they were in London, and this is dated April 16th, 1912. I love this article. It's very short, but listen to this. In addition to a valuable shipment of diamonds, which was said to be aboard the Titanic, it was declared tonight that among almost priceless jewels carried by the passengers were pearls belonging to an American woman valued at $600,000. That's more than $500,000, and that's over 100 years ago. So I wonder what those pearls would be valued at today. The steamer also carried a large amount in bonds and a valuable registered mail. It is stated that the owners were unable to insure the Titanic to the full amount because the British and European markets were not big enough to swallow the sum. So basically, the ship did not insure all of those items. So any survivors who said that, oh, my $600,000 pearls were on board, they would not get any kind of reimbursement for that. So, but as far as I know, and I've read about the wreckage of the Titanic and the divers that have gone down there, I've never heard of anybody recovering a shipment of diamonds or these pearls, these incredible pearls that were belonged to an American woman who was a passenger. So that's something really interesting too, that I thought that's something I haven't heard too much about. Who knows though? Maybe in the future, we do know that they're going to be returning to the wreckage to get the radio from the ship. Maybe at some point down the road in the future, they will be able to recover some other things from on board, and maybe some of that will be these jewels that were supposed to have been on the Titanic. So I just wanted to show these newspaper articles are definitely primary sources written at the time, and